Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Now entering the game for Philly Pressbox Radio, Bill Furman and Jim Chet Chesko.
It's Wednesday, February 25th, 2026. Welcome to the Philly Pressbox Radio Roundtable, brought to you by the Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne, PA, Cavs, Philly Tailgates, and the STT Sports Network. I'm Bill Furman. I'll be your host tonight, along with my partner, Jim Chet Chesko. Chet, what a week for the U.S. at the Olympics, and especially USA Hockey. The Sixers remind me of an old film clip that you'll certainly remember. Who are those guys? They lose 5 of 7. They win 2 big ones. Who knows what's going on with those guys? The Phillies have opened spring training in mighty cold Florida the last couple of days, and the Eagles brass is at the combine. They're talking about the new look Birds offense. As always, we have plenty to talk about in Philly sports.
Yeah, Phillies games almost every day, which is fun. The Eagles off-season starting to pick up in terms of news. The Sixers looking a bit better, as you said, after a recent skid. They did win 2 in a row, both blowouts. The Flyers back at it tonight and another one tomorrow, in fact. And, yeah, another very exciting Olympics in the books. Lots to discuss, Bill.
Absolutely, and we have a great guest returning tonight in Sixers insider Dei Lynam to talk what's going on with that bunch. And there's just 24 games left. You don't know what you're going to get night to night. You don't know if you're getting Embiid night to night. D will certainly help us sort that out.
Yeah, we will talk about that. Always a great time when D joins us, and we'll talk mostly Sixers, see what else we get to with D. It's been way too long. It's been almost a year since she's been on our show, believe it or not. So let's do it, Bill.
Let's do it. Let's get started. Welcome, Dei Lynam, back to Philly Pressbox Radio. D, welcome.
Thank you. Always good to be with you guys.
Hello, D. Hey, before we talk Sixers and whatever else we get to, you had a birthday last Friday, so happy birthday. Did you have a good week? How did you celebrate?
Some in my family would say I had a good month, so that was excellent. The beginning of the month, I snuck off to Florida with my husband and played 3 rounds of golf with my dad and a couple of friends. And then I had a really cool trip with one of my G League to Washington, D.C. with my son who's in school down there. And then I went back to Florida with my youngest son.
Nice.
And that was last week. So I got to hit all 3 of my good men in my life.
Oh, that is terrific. Well,
sounds like you hit a couple of the warm weeks, because we've had some cold ones down here.
Yes, we certainly have. No, I was part of that too. Believe me, Bill.
Were you? Yeah, it was chilly.
Well, D, let's get right to it. The 76ers and the big guy. The Sixers recently went through yet another stretch with Joel Embiid where they lost 4 in a row without him before routing Minnesota on Sunday evening. And then Indiana last night, Embiid back in the lineup finally. Both of those last 2 games on the road. How difficult is it for this team to deal with, often not knowing whether Embiid is going to be in the lineup until a few hours before game time? And how much do they have to change things up when he's not available?
Well, I mean, I guess there's a part of me that feels like he's been more available this year in general once he came back to the fold, with the exception of this 4-game stretch that you just mentioned. But I felt like he was playing as a healthier person. I felt like he was performing closer to, the player that has helped them be successful to the degree that they are in the past. I know they haven't gotten out of that second round, and I don't think that's all his fault, to be honest with you. So to say how difficult, I thought they built a roster that was better prepared to deal with that. And I don't think you just look to the big men, right? It's not just Drummond. It's not just Bona. It's like some of those small lineups. And I know I'm going to sound like the bad guy here, but the conversation continues to be all about Embiid and missing some games and now having, some part of his right leg bothering him.
Yeah.
But the Paul George thing is very disturbing to me that and I'm not saying he didn't take accountability, but he cost his team 25 games. So, you can be mad at Embiid, but please, what the Paul George part of this is every bit part of the conversation of who to expect on a daily basis in terms of how many wins you think this team should get.
D, I have to figure out how to exactly ask you this the right way. Joel Embiid is so good, I think. Yeah. A guy can't play on Tuesday because he's hurt. He comes in the next game. He can score 30 points every time he walks on the court, and play half the minutes. Is this guy just this good of a player? He's just not playing enough?
No, I would agree with you that I do think we undersell his talent because he's so frustrating from a career standpoint of the amount of games he's missed. But I think there are a couple of things that he took a different approach to his health management this year is an absolute. And I think that's why he has been able to play. He was never going to play back-to-backs. But Bill, there's plenty of guys in this league not playing back-to-backs. Paul George being another one. So let's not say that's just the Joel Embiid rule. There's a lot of these guys, and I do think there's too many back-to-backs. These guys have 16. That's a big number. You take him out for 8 of those. And now what the league wants to do about that, they're never going to shorten the schedule, and teams that don't have their own building are going to be put in the situation that the Sixers are. So I thought when Paul was still in the lineup, they were doing a really good job. Paul would play one night, Joel would play the other, and they would make that decision based on matchup. So I actually thought they did a pretty good job with that. To your point, is he that good that he can do this? I think so, but I think it is really him and the staff managing his injuries better than they have in years past.
Speaking of the injury, you mentioned this latest one. He's had the knee issues, but now they call his latest one something with his right shin soreness. But now the update on that is he said it's something like an electrical shock. He said it felt like going through his entire right leg. What do you know about this?
Well, he did say that's how he described what it felt like. But I don't know if you've ever had a stress fracture. So, because he used the word, it feels like a stress fracture, which I have had when I was a runner, which was a while ago, I might add. I replaced that with golf. But so I do know, and it does come, at least for me, it did, in that shin area. So I don't know if that's a situation where you catch it early, you can do something to help it, so that you're not feeling that constant electrical feel through your shin. I thought obviously Indiana's not a great team this year, and they're trying to be worse than they are, which we know all too well what that is for franchises. But, I thought he performed fine last night. I think he often has strong beginnings of games, because he comes out of the gate and feels his best. And then, he has had some games where he has helped in the fourth quarter. They've played a lot of close games earlier on more than now, and were pretty successful, which is why DJ is considered such a clutch player, because they are always in these 5-point games with 5 minutes to play. So I don't know who they'll be when the postseason rolls around. I think Paul will come back with 10 games to play, and I hope you're in fighting distance of not having to be in the play-in. It'd be nice if you were 4, 5, or 6. And I haven't looked enough at the final 10, or actually to get to 10, I should probably look first and foremost. They have the Heat tomorrow night. I would expect Joel to play unless he had some kind of setback from the Indiana game. And, away you go. I mean, there's another guy that I say Quentin Grimes is not the same guy that you had a year ago who led the team in scoring once he came here from Dallas. Yeah. But you're a guy who was, playing well on a team that won 24 total games. I don't even know how many they won when he was here. So there's a little bit of you bet on some people. Obviously, they traded Jared McCain, which I actually thought was a good thing given the perimeter guys they have and the assets you could get back and where Jared was from a health standpoint. So there's a couple of things that went a different way for them. But the flip side is Dominic Barlow, Jabari Walker, those are two really good finds as two-way guys. They're good players. They're in your rotation, and it's a financially sound move for that front office.
Well, talking about Joel frustrates me because history tells me he's going to let us down, and I don't want that to happen. So let's talk about positives. Let's talk about Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. Yep. Those guys have really stepped up and played well.
They have, and they were rewarded for it. Obviously, All-Star Weekend, both, Tyrese was the number one American vote getter, and that gave him a spot in the starting lineup. And then, VJ gets the MVP of his game. So, no, those guys have been great. I think sometimes, guys get to key in on Maxey or teams get to key in on Maxey when you don't have Quentin making shots, yeah. VJ kind of going up and down with making shots. VJ still will get to the rim for you. But if those guys don't knock down an outside shot, they do a disservice. But that's also where Paul comes in. Paul was making a lot of 3-pointers, corner threes when, those guys try to take things away from Tyrese. And so it's a big difference. It really is. You need that spacing on the floor.
Dee, as I mentioned, we haven't had you on since last March somehow. I don't know if, shame on us for that. But it is our first time to talk with you about the rookie, VJ Edgecombe. Did you like the Sixers drafting him 3rd overall last June? And what is your impression nearly 3/4 of the way into the season?
I would say I like the ideas that I read about him. I didn't know a ton, right? I see his college stats and whatnot from the Bahamas. Obviously, Buddy Hield or Michael Thompson. I know guys who have come into the league who have come from the Bahamas. But if I tell you the minute he came to training camp, this kid, he reminds you a lot of Maxey. Maybe even a little bit more low-key, if that's possible. And I think Maxey is pretty low-key. And they have very similar, personalities in terms of bouncing stuff off each other. I don't think either one of them gets too high or too low. And I think the kid wants to be good. Yeah, I mean, I know this. He came into the league wanting to be a really good defender.
Yeah.
And he is. And then I think he has like a motor in the fourth quarter that he's not afraid of a big moment. And I think from day one, he has shown great poise. And whether that's because of his upbringing, his low-keyness, I watched a really cool, I don't want to call it a documentary because it's about 17, 18 minutes long on YouTube about him before he was drafted, or maybe it was right after. And it was filmed in the Bahamas. And it was just really cool to see just where he grew up, the courts he played on, the kids that would come up, hey, VJ, his mom, he took the cameraman to his home where he was brought up, and, his stuff is still on the wall of ribbons and whatever they gave you. Not a ton of trophies. There were more stuff that hung on the wall, which I thought was interesting. So, yeah, I think he and Maxey, you'd be hard pressed. Who's going to have a better backcourt tandem for the next at least 7 years, I would say. I mean, they're right up there with, you want to say Tatum and, Brown.
Yeah.
Tatum's coming off injury, right? I'm just saying. I would put them as a tandem up there with anybody in the league right now.
Something in the stats that I was looking at that kind of surprised me as we were getting ready for the show. The Sixers are 15-15 at home.
Yeah, terrible.
Everybody in the top 8 has winning records, even though one of them is 16-14. But the teams at the top all win big at home. This Sixers team, 15-15. How surprising is that? I mean, it's always been you got to win your home games.
Well, it's really surprising because they're above 500.
Right.
That's the amazing thing, right? No, I mean, it's almost unheard of. And they have notoriously, at least in the years I've covered them, they'll take out the tanking years. They won't go to home or road. But once they, became competitive again, the home court was where they did most of their damage. So I really would like to go back, Bill, and look at the schedule and the scheduling of teams and how good, how many were back to back, who did we have available, how many of them were no Joe, no Paul. It has to be something that I could throw into a computer that they should be able to spit something out, because just by the numbers, it doesn't add up.
Yeah. I know they're actually over 500 in the second half of back-to-backs, which is, great.
That's true. Yeah.
Terrific. Hey, so right now they're 32-26, 6th place, but just a half game ahead of Orlando and a game and a half ahead of Miami. The Heat coming to town tomorrow night. I know it's so tough to predict because of the Embiid health situation, but how do you see this playing out this year?
I mean, I think they've done a good job, Chet, of hanging in there, like not getting too far behind. You mentioned the 4 games that they lost, and then they come back with, winning 2, thank goodness. But I feel like they haven't let it get away from them, despite having some things to deal with, whether you want to just say Joel, but the Paul George situation certainly is another part of that. So their goal should always be to stay 5-6 above 500 until you have the full roster. And I think that's how I would present it on a day-to-day basis. We cannot fall back into anything less than that. And if you lose one, you got to win the next one.
D, on a broader picture, looking at the NBA as a whole, now that the Charles Barkleys and the Shaquille O'Neals and those guys, Hall of Famers themselves, they're talking about tanking, and they're talking about, and it's been mentioned several times here tonight. Does the NBA have a problem? And if so, how do you fix that?
I mean, I don't know if you listen to Adam Silver, he got hammered on All-Star Weekend about the whole tanking situation. And then shortly after that, Mark Cuban, who I think most people would say is a very bright guy, kind of came back at him and said, I don't think tanking is the NBA's biggest problem. It's making it affordable for a family to be able to go to a game. It's making the game experience a good one. The only thing I disagree with Cuban was people do show up to see the Wembys, the LeBrons, the Maxis of the world. And when you sit people for no reason, and, obviously Adam's been fining people lately. Indiana got fined $100,000. I'm not sure that's doing any real damage in an owner's pocket. And then one of the other teams it might have been Utah, got $500,000. But they're bouncing around some pretty significant, serious way. If you go back to a complete lottery where everybody's equal and there is no weightedness, that'll straighten it up. People won't be happy, but what's not to play for? So, but they have a serious issue. Serious.
Absolutely.
Hey, D, I have a TV question for you. Last week on our show, I raved about this new documentary on Prime, the series Soul Power, the legend of the American Basketball Association. Did you get to watch any of that? I know that's a little before your time, the ABA. I'm older than you.
No, I've heard of it, and I would like to watch it, like on one of my train, expeditions down
Yeah,
to DC.
it's really good.
But I heard it was excellent. How many episodes is it?
Just 4 episodes, all under 1 hour each, so you can watch it in one afternoon.
What? Hey, Dave, speaking of specials, the other night I stumbled on the Baker League show that was on, followed by Hank Gathers. And I seemed to, a voice kind of stuck in my ear, like I might have known who was narrating that.
That's incredible. That was actually, I got to tell you this, Bill. So that would have been an anniversary of, obviously, the passing of Hank Gathers. But it was the first time Comcast Sportsnet that they let anybody, it was 30 minutes. I did a 30-minute documentary with another guy, Mark Jordan. And, we went and interviewed as many people as we could for it. This is how old it sounds. I remember the green screen and hoping the green screen worked, and we put video behind it and whatnot. So yeah, that was one of my, I did a couple of those when I was at Comcast. Now, long format like that isn't really well received unless you go to, as Chet just said about, a series on Netflix or a series on Prime where they have 4 episodes and, it's just going to be 45 minutes straight through and you'll watch the next. So, but yeah, I guess I was a little ahead of my time by doing it.
It was great. It was great. I enjoyed the show.
Thank you.
One other thing, Phillies spring training. You get to talk about the Phillies, of course, on your radio gig when you're at 97.5. Yeah. How are you feeling about the Phillies this year after a kind of a lackluster offseason?
Yeah, well, I feel like a lot of people are talking about a lot of nonsense in the last couple of days, but I was always a fan of spring training from a fan perspective, right? Because people make it their destination to go down there and enjoy spring training, and I like watching games. I don't think they do as many games as we did in the past on NBC Sports Philadelphia. Yeah. I feel like there's less programming that supports it, if you will. But the way I look at it, I know the last couple have been disappointing, but 2 prior to that were pretty great for people. Yep. So, I hope that they're not out of their window. And we'll see.
It's interesting. Some odds came out today, and it had the Phillies still with the second most wins in the National League. I think we all as fans aren't feeling it, but the odds makers are still feeling like this is a really, really solid club.
But Bill, you know how that goes. You're not feeling it about the Sixers, the Eagles let you down. It's a Philly sports thing.
Right. Oh,
hey, Dee, before we wrap it up with you, I have a little special digital celebratory and thank you message because this is actually a special occasion. So here we go. D 25 visits.
That's incredible.
That's
over
awesome.
the last 12 years. Yeah, about twice a year. Number 25. Only 2 people have been on more, 28 each. Ray Didinger and Brandon Lee Gouton. So you're in good company right there.
I am. I can't wait to tell Ray. I'm like, Ray, I'm right behind you.
Hey, Dee, before we let you go, where can people follow everything you have going on? You usually have more going on than you have hours in the day.
Yes. All right. So I still do my 2 G Leagues. I do the Sixers G League and the Washington Wizards G League. I'm working on another spring project that I'm not quite ready, but when it gets done, you'll know about it and it'll be super fun. So, the G League and the radio is really my thing. I spent a lot of this year radio wise doing Sixers pregame and some Sixers like magazine format stuff, which has been fun for me. Yep. Just to do something different with the medium. So, those are kind of my things.
And playing plenty of golf.
And
when you can.
well, the snow's not helping me much, Bill. Come on.
Right.
But
right.
but I had the 2 trips to Florida. I did get 7 rounds of golf in 2 short weekends. So that was good.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, Dee, we appreciate you taking the time to join us as always, all 25 times. Happy birthday again. I think we had you right about this week last year.
Yeah,
we did.
Early March last year. We were a little late last year, so.
Yeah, for some reason, the last 2, like around my birthday, just didn't work out. I probably had
you were away again last year, too.
Yeah, I think so. I think I was visiting my parents.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, we appreciate it as always, and let's do it again.
Thank you. I'll always say yes.
Thank you, Dee. See you.
Appreciate you, Dee.
Right. Take care.
All right. Hey, Chet, Philly Pressbox Radio is part of the STT Sports Network, as in Set the Trends. It's a network set up by our pal Phil Stifel, host of the terrific Trending in the AM show that you can find every weekday morning on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel. Check out Phil. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Phil's show is on there, and so is ours. You can find Philly Pressbox Radio there, in addition to on our own YouTube channel and our Facebook page. Again, it's the STT Sports Network, setting the trends for what sports talk should be.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, Chet, we need to punch that follow and like button on Philly Pressbox Radio YouTube channel.
Yes, we do. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you hit the like button right away. And if you're not yet subscribed, I know some of you aren't. You watch, but you're not subscribed. Just hit it. You don't have to, pay anything. It just helps us, gets us more visibility. So, we're still trying to get to 800 subscribers. We're like 778 or something like that. So help us get to 800, please.
Let's get it. Hit that follow and like button.
Yeah.
Hey, Chet, February brings the dog days of winter and snow again in your case, but good times at the local pubs. What kind of winter activities are going on at the Irish Rover Station House this blizzard?
Well, this picture is not from this week, obviously, because they have some snow. Langhorne got hit hard. They got like 17, 18 inches last weekend with the snow Sunday and Monday. So they had to close up on Monday to get rid of all the snow and let people get the highways, cleared in that area. But they are back in business right now. We're talking about the Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne, PA. Terrific food, plus 24 beers on tap. Prime Rib Night Wednesdays. Killer Burger Thursdays. Also on Thursday nights, $9 wings and $5 giant Stella pours. It all happens at this place. Oh, happy hour specials too. Live music on the weekends. And next week, I will tell you what they have planned, or at least some of what they have planned for St. Patrick's Day. It is the Irish Rover Station House located on Bellevue Avenue in Langhorne. Find them on the web at irishroverstationhouse.com.
Hey, everybody, it's Willie Nile here, and you're listening to Chet and Bill on Philly Pressbox Radio. You lucky people.
Hey, Chet.
Yeah.
We have to talk Olympic gold hockey. First, the U.S. women take an overtime 2-1 win over Canada. The U.S. men follow that up, give us an overtime win for the ages with another 2-1 win over Canada. The hockey, I didn't get to see all of the women's game. I did see some of it. The men's game was just phenomenal. It could not have been any better hockey.
Yeah, what a great 4 or 5 days for those terrific teams, both of them. A couple of great weeks, really, when you consider, the Olympics as a whole. But, yeah, the drama in particular of the gold medal games for both the men and the women, you just couldn't ask for better hockey, as you said, or more nail-biting drama. I mean, both of them going into overtime, both of them 2-1 scores, great goaltending on, the winners and losers. Just the drama. And I know you don't love 3-on-3, maybe, Bill, but man, it's exciting to watch.
I do love 3-on-3.
Okay, you just don't like the shootouts. I know that.
Yeah. I like the end-to-end action in the 3-on-3. The only thing I don't like as the 3-on-3 has evolved a little bit is they like to spend. They didn't in this game, but they like to spend a lot of time ragging the puck around, wasting time. Looking for that perfect setup. I don't like that quite so much, but the end-to-end action. And if you get caught down ice, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
But great hockey, both teams. And the fact that you were watching the greatest players in the world competing for their country. And Brian Boucher, I thought, had a fantastic line at the end of the first period. He said, I've never seen a faster hockey game in my entire life. Guy's seen a few hockey games.
He has. Yeah. I love listening to Bush. Bush did a great job. And how about this iconic picture right there? Jack Hughes with the flag draped around him, the missing teeth. You know, he's a guy just like Joel Embiid. You know, you get kicked and you get right back in there. Okay, maybe not.
No, maybe not. He got his teeth knocked out. He didn't miss a shift.
Yeah, that was amazing. Look at that guy. And he was just so happy to win it for the USA. Man, the Hughes brothers, two of them who played, and then they have a third one who's a teammate also on the New Jersey Devils. The three Hughes brothers, two of them in the Olympics. Man, and the mother's involved. The father, played some hockey. Yep. So it's a family affair. And I saw the mother on the Today Show, I guess on Monday. Boy, she knows her stuff also, and was really thrilled to be there cheering the kids on.
And all three boys are first round draft picks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
I think
good.
Jack was first overall. One of them was first overall.
Yes, Jack was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I was thinking about this, Chet. If you're, let's say, 50 years old or younger, this to those people is our 1980 Miracle on Ice. They weren't, the most they could have been was 5 years old on the Miracle on Ice. So they don't remember that probably. So for them, this is like the greatest hockey game probably that they've ever seen. And it's right up there. I mean, it's right up there with the Miracle on Ice, and certainly not as good as that one because it was against Russia, but also, and I'd have to put the Flyers Russia Spectrum game as up there in maybe the top three of games I've seen. Of course, Flyers winning the cup too.
And you sent me that link. How about all the coincidences with, the Hughes and the Hughes guy getting cut in Miracle in the movie, which actually happened in real life. And it was 46 years. And
to the day.
And that Hughes guy who played in the NHL from 1980 played 46 games. So there were just so many coincidences, so many tie-ins. Man, you just wonder if something is weird happening.
Right. And a lot of other players too in that game, the Tkachuk brothers, there's that one video floating around of one of those. They're maniacs. They're great players.
Oh yeah.
But the one of them saying, we are not going to lose this game. He's on the bench saying, as it's rolling, we're not going to lose this game. Just such leadership. And the thing about it is, come tonight, they all put their other jerseys back on. You want to hate them again.
Yeah.
But you ain't hating Captain Jack ever.
And I think New Jersey has a home game tonight. Man, that crowd is probably going wild, with him there and cheering him on. And how about this picture of, the Goudreau jersey and the kids, the Goudreau family, the parents there watching, an Olympics that their son probably or definitely would have been playing in. Boy, that had to be both enjoyable yet also tough to watch.
Yes, absolutely. And but what a classy move by these kids.
Yeah.
These kids, they're not kids. These hockey players to include him, and he was at the top of their mind the whole time. When this all started to evolve, I mean, they knew they were going to do this if something like this happened, and it was really, really cool, really classy move by USA Hockey or these players, whoever was behind it all. Really classy move.
Minutes after they won, when they were skating around the ice, somebody had the Goudreau jersey holding it up, and I posted a picture of that. So it was great to see. Brings a little a tear to your eye and just makes you feel good about everything.
Yeah. Now, what do you think about when you're the goaltender? And I don't know if their first game is home or away, but you got to go to Edmonton, Edmonton, and play goalie in Canada because that's your home team.
Yeah, how about that?
I don't think he'll get quite the reception that Johnny will get wherever he's playing.
That is interesting. Yeah, he played goal for USA, but he plays hockey in the NHL on a Canadian team. I didn't really think about that. That is very interesting.
Yeah. But hey, it was great. Don't want to take away from the women's game.
Yeah,
like I said, didn't see all of that, but they were fantastic as well. The first goal in that game by the women, was it just a tremendous move with the stick handling. It was first class skills by the ladies as well.
Yeah, it really was. And boy, these ladies have some talent. Now, I don't know. Are there like women's leagues where they get to play all winter?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this will probably bring a lot more attention to that. And, as well as the men's hockey as well. I'm sure Hughes jerseys are selling a lot right now. And, some people will tune into more NHL games, I guess, to check on some of these guys. And, maybe they just got hooked on watching some good hockey over the last week and a half.
Yeah. Well, one final thing I wanted to say about the Olympics is I wanted to get your take on the curling, because I'm sure you watched 16 hours a day of it for a month, it felt like. Any takeaways from curling?
As I said last week, I don't get curling. I will never, ever get curling. It all looks the same to me. I don't know what the goal is. I don't know how people get into curling. It's just bizarre to me. And yet people do watch it, and they have all these, little competitions that, fake curling things where they're, pushing something else down a street or a sidewalk or whatever. I don't know. I don't get the
curling. I was going to send you one today, but it was too late. It had a couple ladies, and they were in a kitchen.
Yeah.
And there was a wine bottle rolling across the kitchen floor, and they were up there scrubbing to get that wine bottle to the end, So it was that one. And then there was the one that's a new thing for your barbecue, summer barbecues.
Yeah.
They put the 12-pack on a little skateboard, and they roll it and had yeah.
There you go. That I could get behind.
Yeah, curling got a lot of attention. I can't say I understand it either, but it seemed like it was on every night for a month to me.
Oh, by the way, my shirt does not say red, white, and blue. It is red, white, and brew.
Brew. Okay.
Little play on words.
All right. Wait. Speaking of hockey, Chet, the Flyers returned to action tonight against the Capitals in Washington. There is no room for losses with 26 to go in the position they're in.
Yeah, games in Washington tonight, and then against the Rangers tomorrow night. It's funny. You get 2.5, 3 weeks off, and then you come back and you play back-to-back games. I guess the schedule will be a little more cramped over the remaining month and a half or whatever because of the Olympic break. So it ain't going to be easy. And yeah, the Flyers have a lot of ground to make up. Vladar better be good in goal. Mishkov better have a better final third of the season than his first 2/3 of the year. Going to be interesting. Oh, the trade deadline is a week from this Friday. So we'll see if the Flyers make any moves, either, as buyers or sellers. So it's going to be an interesting next 9 days on that front.
Yeah. And I read where Lynam is pretty well sought after.
Yeah, I did hear that.
A lot of inquiries about him. I wouldn't be surprised if they would move a guy like him. Because
other teams are.
Yeah, they're on the outside. They're on the outside of this playoff picture at this point. I don't know if I'm selling out on any of these young kids, but moving a guy like him, if you can get somebody for him, and not be a loaner, a renter, you keep him into next year. You got to make that move, I think.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll see what happens between now and next Wednesday, and then between next Wednesday and next Friday. So we'll talk about it.
You mentioned the Rangers too. They've got to beat the teams in front of them, and there aren't many behind them. So they basically got to win their games, and there's just not any room for that. That losing streak just blew them out of the water.
I was feeling so good around January 1st that they looked like the playoff team. I said that. I jinxed them. Now they're not looking like a playoff team.
I don't know that you jinxed them, but something happened where they just stopped playing very good hockey there for a while. It wasn't good.
Yep.
All right. Well, hey, Chet, spring training baseball's cranked up, and what could be better than Phillies baseball and some tailgating with the best tailgaters in Philadelphia, Bob Cavanaugh and the gang at Cavs Philly Tailgates.
Nothing could be better than that, Bill. Cavs Philly Tailgates has been cooking up a terrific catering business for some 35 years. Cav, a 3-time winner of Philly Tailgates, Jack Daniels Great American Tailgate Party Contest, and a past winner of the Philly Daily News Tailgate Award. We're talking about this guy, Bob Cavanaugh. He and his guys are known best for their tailgates before Philly sporting events. And while there won't be any Eagles parties until September, there will be Phillies tailgates before the home opener, March 26th. That is fast approaching. I guess that's a month from tomorrow. Yeah. Also, before a Phillies Guardians game in May and before the Morgan Wallen concert on August 1st. Get details on those and other events at Cavs website, phillytailgates.com. And if you have questions, by the way, you can email them at cavscatering@verizon.net. Cavs Philly Tailgates is the way to go. I had a talk with Cav last week, by the way. He'll be down in Clearwater or that area for most of March. So I'm going to be down there the first weekend in March, and we're going to hopefully hook up and, have a drink or two, me and Bob.
There you go. Well, as mentioned, spring training has started in chilly Clearwater. 37 degrees this morning, Chet, 73 this afternoon. Go figure that. I went to work with about 4 layers on and came home with 1.
Yeah, we actually got another inch of snow this morning on top of all that stuff we got Sunday and Monday. And then the sun came out, melted that right away, got up to, I think, 46 degrees today. Going to be 50 on Friday, 55, I believe, on Saturday. It's going to feel like, the middle of summer after what we've been through over the last couple of months. But anyway, yeah.
We got a pile of 80. We got a pile of 80 degrees coming up. So get ready. Bring your shorts.
Oh, I'm ready. I cannot wait. Next Thursday, we'll be flying down to Florida. Did the Phillies win today? I didn't hear.
They did.
They got their first win.
5-3. Yes.
All right. Because they had lost 3 of their first 4 plus a tie mixed in there. So they finally got a win. I guess Justin Crawford, one of the big news pieces, he went 2 for 3 in his debut last Friday. What else? Brad Keller, I know, was pitching today before going off to the World Baseball Classic. He was going to get an inning or 2. He's going to be a key setup guy. So lots to watch for still over the next few weeks. Anything catching your eye, Bill?
Well, Crawford, they had him today. He was 0 for 3 today. They had him in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hole. So here, let me run this down real quick for you. Schwarber in the DH was the leadoff. Real Muto second. Harper, Bohm, Garcia, Crawford, Kemp, Sosa, Leon in left field, Leon, and Keller was the pitcher. So that was the lineup for today. It might not be too far off other than a spot or 2 there.
Yeah, well, neither you nor I really want Schwarber, I don't think, in the leadoff spot. I think it's going to be Turner leading off. But the question is, where do you bat Schwarber then? Do you put him behind Harper? Do you put him on the other side of Harper? And Schwarber was on WIP on the morning show yesterday talking to those guys because they were down in Clearwater, Joe DeCamera and company, Monday and Tuesday. And they asked Schwarber if he preferred hitting in front of or behind Bryce in the Phillies lineup. And he gave, kind of the answer that you would expect.
I'm about winning baseball games, and whatever, our manager, whatever, everyone comes up with a combined thing of, hey, this is what we feel like is the best way for us to win baseball games. That's what I want to do. The game's always going to constantly be morphing. That's the biggest thing for a player, is that you have to continue to find ways to improve yourself.
Yeah.
Well, no argument with that. But with that, I can't see any way Schwarber and his, 135 RBIs can be batting in the leadoff spot. He's got to be back there where he could drive in runs.
Yeah, 56 home runs last year, 135 ribbies, and you're going to get more opportunities batting second, third, or fourth than you would first, typically, because, the bottom part of the lineup isn't going to be on base quite as often as the guys 1, 2, 3. So we'll see how it goes, but that'll be something Rob Thompson's going to have to decide again.
Yeah, and I saw something interesting, and I kind of hope this doesn't work this way, about Crawford batting in the 9 spot. So basically you go 9-1 with Crawford Turner with the speed.
Yeah.
I'd rather see Crawford develop into maybe being the number 2 hitter or something like that. He's a left-hander as well.
But as a rookie, it's going
to take time. Yeah. But I'd like to see maybe Turner, Harper, and then go with Garcia or Bohm in that 3 spot, Schwarber in the 4 spot, Garcia or Bohm in the 5th spot, Realmuto behind him is how I'd like to see it go.
Of course, Bill, the big news out of Clearwater and the Phillies organization over the past week or so, the fact that Mike Schmidt and Taryn Hatcher will not be part of Phillies broadcasts any longer. That kind of caught a lot of people by surprise on both fronts.
Yeah, well, I think Taryn just kind of went away. As it turned out, her contract apparently was up and it wasn't renewed. And I don't know, they brought her in from Hawaii. She's a local girl, but she was working in Hawaii, and they brought her in specifically for NBC Sports Philadelphia. And I guess she had a 7 or 8 year run. But they appeared to move on. The Mike Schmidt thing, I think, is a little more interesting in that.
I think that was his decision, from what I understand.
I think it might have been, but if the fantasy camps, the minor league instruction, all that stuff, his name has not been mentioned. He's not around. I don't know if he's got health issues or he's just decided to step away. I don't want to start a rumor because I don't know. But I'm not sure that maybe they're in a little more to that than and it looks like they're working Cole Hamels into that spot anyway. And maybe that was part of it. They brought Cole in some at the end of last year.
Yeah, and Schmitty did have, I guess, skin cancer a couple of years ago, but recovered from that. So, he just wants to totally retire and hang out with the family and enjoy life a little more.
He's 76 years old. I think we lose sight of these things, but he's 76 years old. He might not want to get on an airplane, whether it's a private jet or however he's getting around, and fly back and forth every other weekend
he lives in Florida for the most part, right?
Yeah. He lives down by Fort Lauderdale, down that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one other comment about spring training I wanted to make, really so far, we're only 5 games in. It has been cold. The spring training is starting earlier because the World Baseball Classic break that's going to take place. We really haven't seen any Phillies pitchers yet to speak of, any of the big guys that we're expecting. Yeah,
that is true. So, as I said, the setup guy was supposed to pitch an inning or two today. Don't know how that went. But, they have so many guys going off to the World Baseball Classic. They have like 15 or 16 guys, including some of the prospects. But Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber, along with Brad Keller, Team USA. Going for the Dominican Republic will be Christopher Sanchez and Johan Rojas. Aaron Nola, of course, pitching for Italy. Don't get that, but okay. Taiwan Walker for Mexico, Garrett Stubbs and Max Lazar, both on Team Israel, and Edmundo Sosa for Panama. So they're losing a lot of guys later this week to go to the World Baseball Classic. So that gives more some of the other guys opportunities to show what they can do. I guess among the starters, with Wheeler, still recovering, Luzardo is the only one of the starting rotation who will be there during the World Baseball Classic.
Yep. And today's pitching, just to let you know, here was your pitching lineup today: Keller, Pop, Backhouse, McCambly, Meza, Richards, Cabrera, Barbosa, and Brunovich.
Wow.
They were your 9 one-inning pitchers today for the Fightins.
And they won. Go figure. Well, Bill, as we mentioned, we are fast approaching the regular season starts on March 26th. So that is exactly, Bill, 29 days away. And there's one of our favorite number 29s. Mr. Kruk actually wore 2 or 3 different numbers during his time with the Phillies, but I believe he wore number 29 the longest, including that memorable 1993 season. So, we are 29 days away from opening day, March 26th.
Better get that snow off the ground, Chet.
Yeah, it's melting now.
It's melting. All right. Hey, we had a great guest tonight in Dei Lynam. Who's coming to Philly Pressbox Radio next week?
Oh, Bill, you're going to like this one. I promise you. Because next week, we are going to talk Flyers hockey, current day Flyers, and the Broad Street Bullies era, as well as we welcome this Flyers legend who was welcomed in the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame a couple of years ago. He was on our 500th show, as you'll recall, 2 years ago at the Irish Rover, and he will be on our show number 590 next week. Yeah, the great Joe Watson, Bill. You love Joe.
Oh, Joe's great. Joe's great. And if you want to be entertained for 30 minutes or however long Joe's going to be with us, just tune in because he will tell you some stories, and they're all good ones.
Thundermouth. That is his book. We will talk more about the book. It's a great book. And yeah, he's got a story about everybody from the 1960s, 70s, and 80s.
Yes. And he was roommates with Bobby Orr.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Who was pretty good at hockey.
Yeah, not bad.
There you go. Hey, Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman met with the media yesterday for the Combine State of the Eagles press conference. What's your takeaway?
Well, Howie is pretty good all the time at saying a lot of words, but not really saying anything. And he did that once again. You know, he does the GM speak.
Word salad, I think they call that in some places, don't they?
Talked about Antonio Brown. He likes to have good players on the team, of course. So there's still a lot of speculation that Brown might not be an Eagle.
A.J. Brown.
But I said Antonio, yeah.
Yeah, we don't want him.
No, A.J. Brown, of course. I'm drinking beer, Bill, sorry. Yeah, A.J. Brown. I still think he's going to be an Eagle. Some people think he is on the trading block. And if they can work out a trade with somebody, Mike Vrabel is a close friend still of A.J. Brown. He coached him in Tennessee, and he said some kind things about him. They still text, apparently. I don't know if that's tampering or not, but Vrabel admitted he still texts A.J. Brown frequently. So we'll see what happens there. Nick Sirianni then also said, he's happy with the offseason so far. And what else did he say? He was, of course, asked about the change in offensive coordinator yet again. And somebody asked Nick Sirianni, what things might look like under the new OC. Here's what the coach had to say.
There's a lot of steps to take place before we know exactly what version of this offense is going to be. But obviously, Sean comes from a family of coaches and things that he's done that we really respect, that we know is tough to defend. We know we've done a lot of good things here as well, as far as some of the things we've done that's hard to defend. So being able to sprinkle some of that in. And a lot will be, you got to go through the process with your players to get to all those answers again. And you're constantly going to try to get to it, get to where you will be by the end of the season. But really, it's always important at the end of the day that we're able to run the football, be able to do play action off of that, play physical, play with relentless effort, play with great detail, play together. Those will be all things that we're looking to do.
There you go.
Pretty much what you would expect, I guess.
He's getting better. He's getting much better at these news conferences, talking without giving you any information. That's what coaches do. We expect it.
Right. And he did, I don't know, I don't think you have the clip, but he did speak very well of the Jeff Stoutland deal. And much respect for Stoutland. But I guess it just kind of seemed like it was time to move on. And, that happens. There'll be others. They'll be all right.
And of course, the Eagles have a whole lot of free agents. There's the list. There are some big names. There are some lesser names on there. But Jeff McClain reported today that Jalen Phillips is one of the Eagles' top priorities. Do I have a picture of him? Yeah, there. Jalen Phillips, edge rusher who they acquired last year. Well respected, had a good year. Had some real good games when he first got there. So apparently they do want to make Jalen Phillips a priority. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. And the other one I'm really interested to see is Dallas Goedert, how they're going to handle that. I think Goddard's 9 years in now, 10 years
I believe
in?
So, yeah.
I think you could get Goddard on another 1 year deal on the cheap. Nobody's going to give him a big long-term contract. He's a solid player. And if they could keep him around 1 year at a time, I'd do it.
Yeah. I mean, he's had some injury history. I think he missed even a game or two again this year, but he was actually pretty healthy this year compared to the prior couple of years. So I would love to see Goddard back, a veteran presence at tight end. So please keep Dallas.
Yeah. And I think if not that Dallas, our Dallas.
Dallas Goedert.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And if they make the middle of the field a priority on this new offense, you got to have a guy like him, and he can certainly get the job done. So I'm looking forward to that.
The other Dallas sucks, Bill.
Yeah, that one. We know about that one.
Yeah.
And you know what? It could be February and they still suck. All right. So what else we got? Because we're about to close this thing up. Any loose ends?
Bill, we had a lot of snow here over the last few days. Well, I think we had like 16, 17 inches. It might have only been 15, but you know how guys always like to add an inch or two. Anyway, when I went into my closet to get some gloves, fortunately, I had a pair of gloves in the car that I was able to use. But we have this bag in the closet of like gloves and hats and scarves and whatnot. Honest to God, there were 7 gloves in there. Every single one of them, a left-handed glove. How does that happen? 7 left-handed gloves. That is not all right.
Exactly. You better find the other bag.
Really? And I'm not kidding. That is really the truth. 7 left-handed gloves.
Well, you're right-handed, though, right? I mean, if you'd had 7 right gloves, I would say that was the ones to hold your beer when you're out in the cold at the game.
Some of these weren't as thick as the others, so I was able to use one of the left-handed gloves on my right hand and just kind of, bend the thumb back. So I made it work because I didn't want to go into my car to get the good pair of gloves out of there. But anyway, that's that. Oh, one other thing today, Bill, the 2026 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominations came out. None of these excite me, to be honest. I like a lot of these people. The Black Crowes, of course. Phil Collins, a legend who's already in there with Genesis. But I think they've kind of gotten most of the big names in there now. So there'll be a lot of support this year for Iron Maiden because they're kind of the British heavy metal guys who aren't in there yet. Black Sabbath and Judas Priest are in, but Iron Maiden still not. So we'll see how it goes, but not an overly exciting list of nominees for the Rock Hall.
Here is one guarantee, Chet.
Yeah.
I will not lose any sleep over this selection.
I kind of figured that, but I just thought I would throw it out there if we had time because I know we got some rock and roll fans who do watch the show.
There you go. Hey, one final thing. I didn't want to do this with D on here, but let's talk about having a sore shin and let's talk about getting your teeth knocked out.
Yeah, I knew you were going to mention that. That's why I kind of threw it in there.
Sore shin gets you a night off, and you get a sore shin after not playing for a week.
Yeah, that was the amazing thing. His shin was bothering him while he was rehabbing the knee. So.
Right. And that got him 2 games off. You got another guy who gets his face half ripped off, gets his teeth knocked out, and he doesn't miss his shift. We ain't the same.
Yeah, I can't defend Joel on this one, Bill. I mean, it is what it is. So,
I hear you. All right, you ready to wrap?
I'm hoping he's in the lineup tomorrow night, though. Sixers, right? Big one.
There you go. All right, let's wrap it up. Let's thank tonight's special guest, Dei Lynam. Our sponsors, the Irish Over Station House, Cavs Philly Tailgate, PPCC 118 Raz Room. For Jim Chesko, this is Bill Furman. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll join Philly Pressbox Radio next Wednesday, March the 4th already, Chet. March, spring training time. Yep. You can see us live on Facebook, on our Philly Pressbox Radio YouTube channel, on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel, and listen on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and all the others. High hopes, Philadelphia sports fans.